Good morning. So I am starting some embroidery today. I talked about this the other day, and I just wanted to show you, for those of you who have started doing embroidery or want to start doing embroidery, my thought process. So basically this is going to be lots of little flowers, and the simple way to do it is just to find something to draw around. I use, hold on, yeah, I use one of these, which is a right way around, sorry, a Pilot friction ball. I got mine from Amazon, but actually they've started selling them in Tesco now. So, and you can get them in all different colours. I tend to use black. You can get black, red, blue, whatever. And you can draw onto fabric, and as soon as, and if you make a mistake when you're drawing it, so suppose you've drawn one here and you didn't want to, you could just, you touch the eye into it and it disappears like magic. So I've never had a problem ever with these, with it not coming out. I don't do it really hard, but it's absolutely fine. So you draw your design on, stitch it, and then I'll show you again how I press them when I've finished, and it just disappears. So basically that's my little design, which doesn't look terribly inspiring or exciting. It doesn't have to, actually. I think embroidery sometimes very simple is just as lovely. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is, I've mentioned this before, I was very lucky to be sent some hoops. This one, which is Trimmets, which is a type of hoop that I would normally use. So I'm just about to use that one. It's a standard hoop, and that's what I would normally use. The other one that I'm also going to try for another embroidery tomorrow is this one, which I was also lucky enough to be sent. This is Clover. This is plastic, and this is not something I would normally buy, not just because it's plastic, but because I just wouldn't be drawn towards that. But this at the top, I'm constantly getting my threads caught around here, and this looks intriguing, so I'm going to try this one. But have you used this? What do you use? I don't know what you think is best. I also pick up hoops actually from my local charity shop as well, and things like that. They're all perfectly fine, and I love the fact that someone's been stitching on them before as well. So you just need then some embroidery needles. These are just standard embroidery needles. They come in all different sizes, and you're looking really for the size of the hole, for depending what you can see, there are different sizes there depending on whether how many threads you're going to put through or what type of embroidery thread. I'm using DMC and anchor and things like that, but I've got lots of different threads, and some are a lot thicker than others, but that's all you need. So anyway, I'm going to get started on that, and I'll show you how I'm going on. So the other thing is, talking about the thread, I think I've said this before, when you get the thread, if you buy this kind of DMC anchor thread, it comes in 6 strands, and you have to select, there's only 4 left on here because I've already taken 2 off. You have to select as many as you want. I tend to do 2 strands for the type of embroidery that I do on here. 1 strand would be very fine. Sometimes people will use all 6 strands. That's really kind of up to you how you want to do it. You can do it one of 2 ways if you want to do it. You can just hold it, pull the end and just pull it through, and then the end of it, we'll just do that scrunch up, but you just pull it through. Or you can just literally separate it by pulling 2 out, and can you see what I'm doing? I'm just doing that. The length of it, I tend to hold it in the tips of my fingers and measure it to my elbow, and that way, just past my elbow actually, that's not true, it's coming up here on my arm. That way it doesn't tangle too much, but you get a good enough length that you can get quite a few stitches in with having to keep changing it, because that's threading your needle, and then thread your needle and you're away. Now I start my embroidery by, I'll show you how to do my knot quickly. Oh, sorry. I start my embroidery by doing a knot on the top of the fabric, so, which I'll show. So basically what you do is your knot. So I just wind the thread round 3 or 4 times and then hold it, pull it through, and then you're pulling the knot down to the end. So then you have a knot. I think it's called a quilter's knot. And you have your knot. And then, so this is called a waist knot. So you go in on the top, close to where you want to stitch. And I haven't got this tight enough yet, I haven't tightened it. And then so I haven't tightened this. This is what happens when you're not concentrating. So if you don't tighten it, it's not easy to tighten it. You just pull it from opposite directions until it's nice and taut. That's how not to do things. So anyway, so you do waist knot, have it quite close to where you're stitching, come through to an area that you know is going to be filled with stitching, and then do a couple of tiny little stitches, really tiny, next to each other, 2 or 3, and then you're okay to begin stitching. And then I normally leave that there for a second, but then what will happen is it will start to get on my nerves, so I'll cut it off. Once you've done a couple of stitches, you're fine to do that. So that's how I start. Nothing very complicated. There's all different ways of doing it. I don't do a knot at the back because if you do a knot at the back, you can end up with quite a lumpy, bumpy back to it, which I don't like. I don't think I don't worry too much about the back of my work, but I also don't really want lots and lots of knots there. So I don't know if that helped in any way, but that's how I start. Look what's just come through the door. So this is, I like the fact that this is in compostable bags. Potato starch. So we send our bags of compostable as well. Are they potato starch? Don't know. Anyway, well done RSPB. At the very least I would expect of you. Look at that. I love these magazines. So I think I pay, what do I pay? It's only about £4 a month or something. I don't know. I'll have to look it up how much I pay. About £4 a month, I think, to belong. And this is just this is fab. So this you get 4 of these. These come once every 3 months. Anyway, because I love my birds. Did you know that? Literally, I'm never happier than when I'm sitting watching birds. But anyway, look at that. Anyway, I thought I would show you that has just come through, which I'm very excited about. Here's an Archie. He's been a bit funny since he came back from staying with the people that looked after him. Haven't you, Archie? He's almost gone a bit shy on me. You're going to be shy. You funny little thing. He lives to please, this little chap, don't you? Where have you gone? Where have you gone? He lives to please. Yeah, that's better. And a belly rub. Can you see his grey whiskers? He's got grey whiskers. Look at you. Look at his whiskers. Look. He's only 4, 5. Look at that. Archie, we're going to have a grey Labrador. Here's Monty, coming to get in on the act. Hello, darling. He's really hot too, aren't you? Oh, beginnings of one flower. Having just seen Archie falling asleep down there, has anyone seen Amy's puppy, little Tayloress, that she's been showing on Instagram? Oh my goodness. Trixie. Can't wait to see her growing up. So I finished my socks that I was knitting for my mum, which was in lovely yarn from Kelly, Lay Family Yarn, and I'm going to cast on some new ones. So I don't know whether to, so this was one of our minis clubs, so I might do some scrappy socks in these, not necessarily in that order, sorry, maybe in that order, or so scrappy socks in that, or this, which is a Downton Abbey colourway that we did, which I think this was the Lady Mary one, or that, because I am thinking a little bit about, in all this heat, autumn, and that kind of feels like it would be nice for that. Don't know. And that's the other thing. Oh, quite outraged at this. I was thinking this time I might do not necessarily 2 at a time socks, but just cast on one pair and then initially cast on the other and cast on the other. So I've got 2 on the go. Do you know what Keith said to me? That's a good idea, except you're going to have to make the same, for them to be the same, you'll have to make the same mistakes on the second one as you do on the first one. Which I thought was a bit cheeky, to say the least. But anyway, what do we think? That or that? Completely different, aren't they? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go and snuggle up and do a bit more of my blanket, I think, while I decide. Night night. Still filling this one up because in this heat I want them to at least, they're still not going to the other one, but I thought at least this way they've got some fresh water. Still ignoring the other one though, monkeys. Need to cut some of my lavender. Bee, where are you? I just saw you. Look at him. Anyway, yeah, I need to cut some of this. Don't like cutting things. I'd rather just leave it out here, but I do know I need to try it. Some more little strawberries on my plant. They are teeny tiny, but they taste gorgeous. Not been in there very long, so I'm really pleased with that. Nothing to report on the bee house. Not been discovered yet. Oh, they're lovely. Pretty little things. They've been flowering all summer. Little strawberry haul. I mean, they're not going to sustain me for that long, but I love them. And just picked some lavender. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love lavender. Love it, love it. So I'm going to embroider that today because it's too gorgeous not to. I love that. Simple things. So I thought I would try this hoop. And I like it, actually it's really good. It grips the fabric really well, so you don't have to keep tightening this. That's really simple to do, so you don't need to have a, sometimes you have to really struggle to tighten the others up. This one you don't on this, which is good. I don't know how much they are, actually I haven't had a look to see how much they are yet, so I don't know whether or not they're cheaper or more expensive. I'll have to have a look. Anyway, got completely distracted yesterday, so didn't get a whole lot of flowers done. So I'm doing a little bit more today. Get this one done and my lavender. hopefully get them made into bags for this week's shop update. We've also got, which I'll show you in a minute, some new colourways going in. Two of which actually kind of coordinate with this. Should you wish to have a matchy bag and yarn. So I've been out to do some shopping. Somebody left a comment on my last video saying that she couldn't hear me properly, so I'm really sorry. I wasn't aware that I was sort of really quietly spoken. I'm really sorry if you can't hear me properly. I'll try and speak a bit louder. So I've just been shopping, popped back in. Why do I say that? Why do we say that? We popped. I went out shopping and I came back and I got a little parcel. And I've only opened the card so far. Look at that. That's lovely. So, fair trade card from Bangladesh, handmade using traditional embroidery techniques and cotton paper. How amazing is that? Now this is from a lovely lady whose name is Chris, and she wanted to send me a thank you, and honestly, the fact that people do that just blows me away, and this is amazing. So thank you, Chris. Cool, that's lovely. Actually, speaking briefly about Oxfam, somewhere, I don't know where it is now, it's only a little strip of fabric, but anyway, when I was at Latitude, a lady came up to me and said, do you shop in charity shops? And I said, yes, I do. And she was talking about, and I will get the details actually before I waffle on and get it wrong, but she was talking about September being where you don't buy anything new, and you're encouraged to, if you do need anything, to see if you can buy it from. So we call them second-hand shops, charity shops here. I think in America, I think you call them thrift stores, do you? I don't know. But anyway, that's what I'm going to try and do in September. I do try and do it a lot now. But that's for things like books and yeah. So I'm going to try and see what I can do. But anyway, isn't that lovely? So it is World Embroidery Day on the 30th of July, and I've just seen that Nikki Franklin is holding a workshop. I would really like to go to that. I think it's from 11 till 4 or something like that, stitching. That would be amazing. I'd love to meet her as well. Do you know who I mean? Of course you do. Nikki Franklin Needlework, I'm sure you do. Her Instagram feed is absolutely fabulous. Her aesthetic is just gorgeous. Anyway, I have to think about whether I can actually do that. But for let's see what I'm doing here. World Embroidery Day, I thought it might be nice to put together a little giveaway. So I will put together a few things and then tell you about it on here and on Instagram. Yeah, that would be a nice thing to do, because I've got some of the hoops that I was sent, so I could pop some of those in there, and yeah, I'll see what I can find. Going back to Nikki, I managed to get one of her advent calendars, which, so excited about that. So I love summer, but truth be told, as weird as it may seem, it's probably my least favourite season, if I'm honest. I think my favourite has to be autumn. I just love everything about that. Someone's Instagram feed this morning, she was saying she can't wait for autumn, and hands around mugs to keep them warm, and frosty mornings and things like that. And oh, thread there. And I'm like that. I love autumn, love it. Anyway, where is she going with this conversation, you're thinking? No idea. But anyway, the inspiration, what I'm saying is that thinking about just getting that advent calendar from Nikki. Oh, I can't wait. Not that I'm wishing several months away, but I'm looking forward to it. Also, if I've had quite a few messages from people asking about our advent calendars, and we did have 2 actual releases of them, which have both sold out. We would love to do some more, but the thing is, we've done double what we did last year, and we just want to get, you know, we want to complete the advent calendar that people have ordered before we think about doing anything else. But we are hoping to do some winter, don't like that stitch, we're hoping to do some winter celebration and some Christmas celebration boxes. So if you did miss out on one and you would like something like that, I will be doing that near the time. I hate saying no to people when they ask if we couldn't do something else. Sorry about that, didn't like those stitches. Gainer, Tales from Cookie Land, left me a message this morning on a little voicemail talking about in my last vlog where I was talking about the cauliflower wings, and I said that's a lot of wings, David. That was a reference from, she was the only person that I think probably got that. Or no, she reckons other people probably did as well. But that was a reference from Love Actually, where she says, 8 is a lot of legs, David. Now, if you've seen that film, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you might think I've lost it. But I don't know what you're like, but we tend to do that a lot in our house. We just sort of will quote film lines, like with Now and I, where I'm going to get the quote wrong now, but he says something like, "Excuse to the farmer, excuse me, can you help us? We seem to have come on holiday by mistake." I think it's something like that. We're always quoting film lines as a family. So anyway, I might put some more in and see if anyone else gets them. Gainer, that's your challenge. I love films. And I love Richard Curtis films. So he did Notting Hill as well, didn't he? Chicks Love Grey. Anyway, that's quite enough of that nonsense, Sherry. Also, back again, I'm sure you all know this, but Gainer is the reason why I'm doing these. I did say at the beginning of my March message it was because of Gainer, but it occurs to me I probably didn't actually say this time, but she's the reason why I do these vlogs, because she started her lovely vlogs, which I love so much. So yeah, I'm just trying to know. That was a Simpsons quote. That's a Simpsons quote where he says, "It's because of me they have to have that warning." I was going to say it was because of Gainer that I'm doing this vlog. I definitely lost it. Oh, Monty, you're losing your voice. This is playtime, evening playtime. Or balking time.